Welcome to Point Coffee, your premier local video games podcast. Assalamu alaikum. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Checkpoint Coffee, your premier local video games podcast. Mifaro episode mi husharadani anekavis moons, and with me are our guests. Kaba kumasarka introduce walam in team.
Halo, ni tausin orang ginang ado even stream takang ara, Mikh'a podcast takang ara, aga tala takang kong. Amo ko ngigiresin bahaga takkan ni Mifaro padanan bihaves tiwehim bahaga tekeveto.
It's Iham. So I try to pop in Mehan podcast, but for this big one, here I am. So looking forward to this podcast.
Hey folks, Mikh'a, I'll be around in this podcast. Most likely, I'll be very silent because, as you guys can probably see, we're trying a very different format, and I'll be in the backgrounds fiddling with stuff.
The wizard basically making everything work.
Yeah.
Today we are missing Thunder Toys from the podcast, so I'm Thunder Toys you missed. Ekamako Korea Gendan Jahan, I'm a Korea Gendana. Mipahar topic 2023, a year in review. Ahara wait with the Ahara Balala gaming games industry. Ekala Lenzakum Balala Kobato update a Kikineto Kantata DA gaming a Rangalo Ahareto no Nonto Balala Megan. Yamima. Hingava Aharmenge 2023 retrospective Fashama Aharmenge Amilla Emmen gaming side achievements of Balalama. First thing I want to say, thank you to all the new followers on our various social media platforms. So the people who showed up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also on TikTok. Your follows are very much appreciated. Same goes for the people who showed up on YouTube and Twitch as well. We see you. Then second, what I highlight Columbano Uridu Nation Naikum partner up with. Then this is an ongoing project. You might have seen some of our works named Puriya Dair. And I also want to highlight Mikh'a Roten Warabodo local gaming event Uridu Nation Gamers Land.
Vidya.
Like a media partner. Mikh'a Roten Warabodo local gaming event Uridu Nation Gamers Land. We were also the media partners for that event, Uridu Nation Gamers Land.
Yeah, that was actually a very good experience. Me vara gina tafatu game utake ettane get into jahare and vara thing collaborative vanaka cheddo kateke na FIFA ya che kodala adem varaslu vara sadi vibing etamre, and we were lucky to be like the media partners because it was a really good energy with so much gamers around.
Then Anikon Hermenge coverage because we got to talk to a lot of interesting gamers as well and see a lot of interesting things. Then speaking of coverage, as of last year, weekly gaming news locally Mikh'a Genestevich non-stop Ahar Duas one day. I think that's a pretty big achievement.
Vara masakkan ido aslu. Yeah.
See, I think is something that we can be very happy about. So great work, team, especially you, Iham.
Yeah.
Now, last thing that I want to highlight is Mikh'a Discord server. We've been promoting it with most of our content, so you might have heard about it. But the Emmen Gaming Discord server, the Emmen Gaming Community Discord server, is up and running. We have all kinds of conversations there, and Discord server ke misalaka benum va kahala games taka base ko for different channels venna ne misalaka fighting games abe hein point game benum va mi hanuni free to play gacha games again point game benum va mi noni among FPS games gain for benum va mi kan inna ne wara tapata different audience etta ehme egotan ekka benum va content taka dimala noni community ekka dimala de ekala gotakan inna ne, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think Mikh'a Saritankolaki akka ammuko Mikh'a gacha games to vara building for checka request taka ichhadedo. I think our gacha ane has been pretty active karne ekka mismunga build kiya adi ekka suggestions tang ichinaga, so that's very nice to see.
That's true. Sometimes end game content adala bakining beat kuri poni manna about long conversation which is the point really. Gamers ekka konekaga meet kolla hawaga dakkala ideas exchange kolla ne tane create korunda. So yeah, please check out the Emmen Gaming Discord server. Now with that, one more wahke bane Midiahar me and Thunder Toys feature kore Emmen Gaming represent kuram again daur podcast ka. That was also a really positive experience. Inge etiga vigotaki and Emmen Gaming kuramunga masikka comments work recognize kuram again opportunity libuni. And Harman was interview called La Festival the comments work jawab di. It was quite nice.
Yeah. Astu vara me anekka hakika bona anekka niche masakka kurame hona me rajyaka aslu ammako me nulibe platform, but recently it's been improving and that's really nice to see, and we were very grateful to have been part of that podcast as well. So yeah,
Definitely. And MFM was a podcast and it went quite well, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, that is our side of things. But Tahasin, Kaba, games industry, the big topics and Huluala Mador.
Subhanallah, gaming industry though. Gaming industry midiyaru 2023 yaru kiyar, like you just feel very old though. Astu anengambananya for games. Yeah, for games itself, like 2023 has been a really good year. Like, and we've seen some really good games. Also, about disappointment take besado. Yeah, Diablo 4 Starfield then. Or expectations high cooking. I am account then. Vara doka do ilibuni. But yeah, looking at Baldur's Gate 3 Aslu, that was, I think, the main game that everyone was talking about 2023, which blew everyone's expectations. Yeah. Aslu was sad though, because even from the player's perspective, ekha unique game though, which was ammukong ekha egota mashhur ennu edo ekha game though, even like looking at Divinity HS Sabbarar SKL lakanno edo
CRPG ke wagda tippanani.
Yeah. That genre itself is a niche genre. Gaming
Definitely. RPG ke terem ves mashangi wagoda gan CRPG kadi ege ves sub genre. The hemme comments work niche refined nani.
Yeah. But
and another thing to consider, Tahsin, this is Baldur's Gate 3, right?
Yeah.
Implying the existence of Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. Ekamo kita me 1 and 2 nukole 3 ves try call lik. Para nuwa kametto games of Baldr.
Mas ves nukole Baldur's Gate 3 pai. Asli agata gekka. We were expecting a lot of like AAA games to be come out hard hit in the there were some disappointments, and Baldur's Gate 3 delivered on all fronts. Like it really felt like a really good game. Shorts taku guys describe for just how much of a sandbox this game is. Players game kodamundar faadu choices the make kuraru, the game just reacts in a different way to sort of accommodate this, and it was really insane. Developer side me vara mostly positive because this is a game that's been like exceeding expectations, even like when it comes to the
What do you mean mostly positive way? I think you might be misremembering. One of the biggest gaming drama of last year, Aki aslu Baldur's Gate anga reaction drama, and if to refresh your memory, basically we got there was some upset of vocal developers. It started, I think, on the indie level, but wakisaba kon tankole AAA hisaba the other argue kurani komme game migotan hunnani kama mikolati ga hunnani kama mi content rich wani kama expect nukurashe then miaro I think the argument of Balafa, we had a whole podcast about it, me, Mikh'a, and you, Tahsin. But our thing was like, like if you're talking about small indie studios, yes, it's reasonable. How about the game? A funded night in a team. Multi-billion-dollar AAA level but the film and budget about companies, like the expectation in commerce level of quality, functionality, and standard at the
that's true. Positive gotaka deveso because you are right. Vara baver mihum nangeti because suddenly players were expecting that this is a real game, which was not half baked. It was like full bread, butter and meat, the full burger.
oh my god, the burger metaphor is back again.
For those of you who remember
he finally remembered the burger.
Yeah, we are on a podcast.
Alright. So me kom burger ke bah kan me har men kurik episode aduhala chenut balala chenge. It's all in there. This is
Yeah.
Mikh'a, checkpoint coffee lore, I guess.
Yeah, win game bro now.
So I think I'm the only one from the team who hasn't played actually Baldur's Gate 3. Am I correct or not?
Mhm.
Adi Koleven
No. Even I haven't touched it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
so I was thinking more of Diablo 4 though, which everyone tried here.
Because a
Subhanallah,
certain
Diablo.
someone
Boy.
dragged us in it though.
Okay.
La ilaha
Never
illallah.
mind. So yeah,
Diablo.
also Aero though we got the I didn't had the time to play it, and also Aero, not Aero, but I'm not a fan of the CRPG genre. Then and on the board disturb as in like click to point games like League or Diablo 4. Embunim tanko boda get to a but since time has passed by and I have been hearing a lot of great reviews, recommendations, but again, I was the catches Luminium Light to the point where I'm willing to try this game out. Then Ekama Vista in the I got to know that Larian actually announced that they are releasing a physical deluxe edition for the game. So I think I'm gonna buy that.
Oh,
Eh,
wow.
yeah, the deluxe edition not the normal edition even. Then deluxe edition
Now,
whatever catches like fabric patches, stickers, poster, and upload map, which I'm actually looking forward
wow.
to.
Ama
Yeah,
kottiyem.
that sounds really good.
Yeah, I actually have
Kottiyem.
Final Fantasy 16 as cloth map.
Oh,
Now, I want to ask you this, Iham. Like, as a person who hasn't played Baldur's Gate, but have played games from Ubisoft and like Activision, Kala, different publishers, so, Mihar, you would have seen karne ke zamana mi mikama internet ka waragina discuss ko kode tang. Mima, aslo. What is your opinion on this whole thing? Like, do you think Baldur's Gate a Mihar unreasonably high quality game, or do you think that Misaka බොඩති කොම්පනී වෙච්ජයාම මෙරේ ගේම තබ සුන්නජයන වගේ ඉංගඩෙක්ගය like what's your overall feeling about this?
No, Wingadege, no, like Baldur's Gate 3, it has everything though, like from the start to the very end. I think even like they might have even included the post game content like DLCs and whatnot. Like Miharakang has most games do release their DLCs and other related story content much more further. So $60 or Eraku Miharaku Ganave Bodo Auga Gandero. If the game has everything, it's pretty good. Also,
aslo tiham ane moni tiswa kolliya mahama sekodiyan ai hama takkiya hawara maja meme make. You guys remember that meme where guys like climbing out of a well and we like, yes, you participate in society. Curious. I am very intelligent. Like we should improve society somewhat.
Oh.
yeah.
I don't really know how that gets connects, but you know, I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
Now, we were waiting at the time of our own podcasting. Starfield Nikutime again industry aslo a Baldur's Gate ke success base ko fetch dasko fito. Mer metime anek kolang ase. So I guess the answer is no kure.
Starfield though, Starfield ವಾಗೋತಕ್ಕೆ ಅಸ್ಲು ಈಗ ಮುಣಾನಿದಮ್ಮ ಯಾರು once it's on the internet though innaanu ಅವರ Starfield hype ko for game of the decade kiya ಅವರ ವಾಹಕ ದಕ್ಕ ಅವರ like false promises make kuritam ಯಾರು then it's ado half then adu is gonna and so like I accidentally again ಯಾರ್ದು ಮುಣಾನಿ accidentally though I have like convinced my friend to spend $70 on this game and
Oh no.
ಏನ ಇವಳನಿ ಮಿಹಾರು ಏತ್ಯಮ ಕೊಳಂಬೆಸ್ like ondagure because it's such a kike bonani boring game medlo anengem bonanya there's like
Oh
it's not
no.
worth $70 spending on such a bleak game though thing. Empty game.
Alright, Kasim, so 2024 friendship with Bethesda over? Question mark?
Over we though then hakamar them Bethesda ko Activision Blizzard ko ba then war bawr mihunga bole list together.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to that part of the podcast. This is supposed to be the positive side, and yes,
Okay.
the mega negative side is about dear listeners, so stay tuned. Anyway, Dengmati Kombaha Kebba Korea, Mivak Mer Komsaka Dakale Vijan.
Then gaba I am a star do hakuda ko dakkawe.
Ti mi har spoiler ti koddini kono kuria pahako. So yeah, mi haru we have talked about Baldur's Gate 3 and Starfield and Kudako Bahadakkando as in Miharu Neru 2023 ga Neru Nedo Vara no study games. So let's talk about them. Like, what are the notable games of 2023 and what we actually enjoyed playing in 2023 though. So for me, I'm gonna mostly talk about what I enjoyed playing this year. And అసలు ATS కొడొక తఫాతు కొల్లం చూడండి. As in, I don't want to talk about a game specifically. As in, I want to talk about a combat system which is turn based. AM for me, what I enjoyed the most last year, and I actually talked about this in the Game of the Year podcast,
Mhm.
but I never really explained it. So
Hmm.
hey, so those two games were actually Honkai Star Rail and Octopath Traveler 2, and I would actually classify them both like those both games are difficult in two ends of the spectrum, though, as in Star Rail being easy and Octopath being hard. So when I say difficult,
Wait,
I
what?
don't mean
Keep.
wait. Adukom.
Okay.
When I say
How do
difficult,
you?
I don't mean how difficult the game is. Inge. I say it's how the combat is. Mihar. Starl has pretty much have three controls, as in normal attack, skills, and ultimate with a lot of animation and hidden mechanics. Well, Octopath have a basic attack, job skills, secondary job skills, items. Well, a lot of menus, which what I'm trying to say, classic JRPG. So what tough at the game? Okay, so I was playing these two games for carry though simultaneously from I would say around April to late June, as in Final Fantasy 16 Irma Kurin, and honestly, that, that was a time where I had the most fun throughout the year. I usually play Star Rail Hedunugadiga, which is a very light-hearted and fun game with very cool animations. Then Waterpart Kwani Havi Record, which is a serious and a dark game. So whenever I got on in any of a game, I'm getting a complete different experience in terms of combat and also the story. Though what I'm trying to say is that I didn't get any sort of drain and way Fusevis or a word which relates to what I'm trying to say though while I was playing two games with the same combat system. So Kuring, I feel like if I'm playing like their combat system in a game FRA, I feel like I might get trained, but it was the complete opposite. Like even if were to fight a boss in both games in one single day, my mind is not trained at the end of the game. Like I'm like the pretty opposite. I'm warang hype for me. I
Oh,
mentioned, yeah, I mentioned this in the review. Yeah, like Star Rail is a great entry level game for Tom Best, and when for the other part, like tune into our review in the near future.
teaser
Okay,
ಬಟ್ಟಾರಿದು
my bad. Yeah, back on get check
మనకు
bonanza.
అది మస్తు వరకు వెళ్ళాను మీ స్టార్ ఏదనే కొన్ని పీసీ ఇంత మీ PS5 ఇంత మొబైల్ ఇంత
Tina
ఇబ్బంది
was good,
ఓకే వస్తాను
I'm a data Star Rail. So now here's something I've been thinking about, like on the topic of Star Rail. It is also an Miharu Varang enjoy kuri game so my seva kadakka lambe and Miharu adage JRPG me put anything and like let's say Final Fantasy kala game ek character ya bara power abilities hure do misal like a white mage gain and high cash spell. Miga me vagotaki mashang hi vagotung instead of doing that, they've taken the different abilities and given them to different characters. So now you want multiple characters. I think that's really the difference there. But I agree. Vara Rangalo and JRPG me a turn-based RPG, sorry. That too like a army who pull off about the gun. But at the same time, I think that me system is deep enough that you could actually challenge yourself at high levels as well. My describe ko nani low skill flow, high skill ceiling. But leaving the topic of Star Rail aside, I also think I'm a Mihar Mage side of some notable games that have been enjoyable games that have been Inga Mahalai Kolumbanova game I mentioned on a game of the year because it is called Gravity Circuit. Currently working on a review for that one as well. Hopefully it comes out before this podcast does, fingers crossed. Mi game ki ekkala mi kuriga Mega Man X series based ko fahadafa in at least inspired by the. So like you have the same kind of movement, platforming. Yeah, the music is good, the combat is good. Like we're talking about an indie game that functions so well and is just a come part of it in a game of Benum Vati build options I choose. So it's pretty awesome. And I also want to say Miyaharu. There were other games like Final Fantasy 16 came out 2023, right? Like that was a big game. We also had Alan Wake 2, which I'm really happy about. I know you're happy about that as well. So Alan Wake 1, kulefa maduwa ka sitakannara Mikh'a game ka sequel libene ke itakannara ebiska rangara sales edes libene ke evara niche gaming and the even. Eke psychological thriller edda. Eke movies balali as action movies and hingani games ge sekha go teddo ve pennani. Ekama kommes taakun kommes miha kommes duwa ekkogen Alan Wake 2 esarana gene deep.
Wait, are you taking Alan Wake 2? Ma ispernu Alan Wake 2 abhe gotam waga dakka.
Dakka me hulwali edoro. Me otti Alan Wake 2 goda kolonu miha. You can please talk about it. I'm just happy it exists, man.
Me bani doro.
Okay. Go on.
Okay. I think even Remedy didn't think Alan Wake 2 would be possible, though, like me, because after Alan Wake 1, a lot of people were asking, okay, in Alan Wake 2, is there a possibility? Me, even the director was like, me, at this point, Alan Wake 2, and finally, it's the Asli, me, for the moment, announce my burn of physical release at the because back Kuriza Manoga, me. ಅಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಂಗೆ ಕೂಡ ದೇಹ ಸಾತೆ ಗದೋ ವರಕ್ ಪುರಿತಾ ಯಾರದೋ ದೇಹ ಸಾತೆ ಗಕನ್ನೆಗೆ Alan Wake 1 nukuti and tinukungari like it was one of the few games PC physical mage game terega dekatido so hemming ekati complete kolla mabenu physical copy ekan but unfortunately egotaka novi ekanta but still, man, Alan Wake 2 it's a journey. Hada reach mayannu kurang astu meeti mihariti manekavakane. Me, if you guys are a fan of True Detective season 1, ne ham varabodama recommend kurang Alan Wake 2 dekka. My review guys komme sarkang innan vivaha karent kolla, but I don't think I really talked about how good the music of Alan Wake 2 is. Like, eha reach ninna nekka music game mechanics me ekka narration na huriya bara sali ko time ko la hori game mean zamana ko nukudange and it's beautiful, it's phenomenal. Hama bara sali ane by far hama ekka inna perfect ekka sequence tang inna bara sali ko time ko la fama exact ekka emotions evoke kurago taddo player side and these emotions hama ekka gameplay tereng ekka me anna ekka player input to like you're shooting something on the stage ekka kikata weaving sequence of bs though angles remorse it's just very 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 good but yeah that's an
the Alan Wake 2 and like like tekama ko emme found Remedy ge game ka koloni control is in a fantastic sequence that if you played the game you know what I'm talking about, right? Play Quran. Yeah, so what I'm learning here is that Remedy has been basically perfecting their craft the make things amount to Alan Wake and then control and I think that was a time travel thing somewhere. There's another game I think.
Quantum quantum break. Yeah. Like I feel like these guys are like A24 capable films of the artsy innovative one even though like the game mechanics like especially the combat when it doesn't make sense so for the most part the art direction and the narration of their games are like really really good. Yeah, so yeah,
Control is anything to go by. If the trailers are anything to go by, Alan Wake 2 deserved. And the game of the year is done nomination level.
Yeah,
wins best mother known the.
well deserved. I think narrative libunu karne agide soundtrack ka libunu hene I am libunu ta I am karne bodange again.
I'm not sure. I was hoping for Final Fantasy 16 to win. But most likely it's Baldur's Gate 3 noni Alan Wake
Hey, it was Final Fantasy. It was Soken. This was a big discussion among us because I think Tassin and I were going back on how he felt like Alan Wake should have been the one which was winning, and I was like, no, Soken composition was better.
There we go. Yeah. Oh, okay. So, me Game Awards me when it comes to the soundtrack, me macam but a feel when Alan Wake karne ke liye we come then things didn't go that way though. Mikh'a, yeah, but
Soken is one of the best composers my opinion ka Mikh'a of gaming the it's nice karne ge best recognition libe
yeah That's good but Game Awards ke vaga dakkar anekka. I think we also have to talk a little bit about the indie scene kanne gane. Indie scene ga sastu meharon hudevara ka studying games for impact indie games in denga. Ekka komme saraka conversation enga ado ekka Dave the Diver me nominated for theme because Dave the Diver was made by a relatively big company though, but you guys remember Child of Light the Ubisoft game.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, हम क्या agota kane small team nge tiga work kore, so I think it's justified kanne ga then before the astu 2023 ga then kanta dima vigo tung I luckily managed to play a lot of these games though, and the indie scene hum is really good akka South Indian ge. Yeah, the indie scene this time was really good, especially hum like a South Indian game though when ba hum very small, but it had a lot of fun, really good game, and we had an Indonesian game though, and it's called Space for the Unbound. I think we reviewed it.
Yes, definitely. And my side kollanangane me ahar anticipate kokken hone Metroidvania anta kutere inga katine comment the Last Wish, an indie game as well. It was really fun. Really good boss fights and then story at the piece together kurama midane adino nimme, but one day.
Yeah, so also like when it comes to like gaming itself from Miharu Pudevaraka Rangalukannek, because we end up getting a lot of games that are very slow. Like Anikas Diablo Foga Wahakanno Midakani Starfield Wahakanno Midakani, but a lot of good games that came out with a lot of personality. Though like Alan Wake 2 was really unique. Baldur's Gate 3 was one heck of a good experience. Then we had this
By the way,
scene. What?
did the Resident Evil 4 remake come out?
Oh yeah, it did. It did come out this year.
Vara hit a game, and it was one of the most talked about games. I'm sure Thunder Toy Surinam have mentioned
Quran. Spider-Man 2 was Miharu. Then unfortunately, it got a bit overshadowed because there were a lot of like heavy hitters. The Legend of Zelda.
Good
game.
I enjoyed that game. That was the third game that I enjoyed the most. We come a weed.
Miyaharu has been a really good year for games.
Yeah.
But that's not the complete story. Miyaharu the gaming negative side of the other.
PC port
as a resident PC gamer. As a resident PC gamer, gaming on PCs.
Oh god, resident gamer with an outdated PC though. Actually, yeah, when it comes to the PC ports, Miyaharu Pudevaraka Kahama. Fucking as a warm fishy gotekka Nikuna games that aren't really fully optimized for PC though. Like I think we discussed to this some extent Aramga Kuriga podcast guys PC ports about the bad PC ports that came out this year. And I think among them was like Jedi me Survivor.
I played Jedi Survivor Tankola recently, but it was on PS5 then. PS5 I didn't had any issues apart from 2 treasures in the game. Around February they released patch 7, which could be described as quote unquote playable though. Then gina fixes the hadafin the egg and like Faga Kurevon what a board of Fahakon like they remove ray traced global lighting and ray traced reflections in performance mode. Edet remove Kurani in like performance Ravalo Kuram vegan. That's like something concerning then. Like performance Ravalo Kuram vegan lighting reflections are removed.
Yeah.
And I think bad PC ports get list to the game. Let me just go through some highlights again. Or maybe they're low lights though. We have the Dead Space remake. We have traversal stutters, certain settings giving massive stutters, DLSS worsening texture qualities, right? We have Forza Motorsport, Hogwarts Legacy, which is also sort of a spotty performance. Of course, the king of bad PC ports, Redfall. And then we have The Last of Us Part 1, which was said to have bad performance, random crashes and stuttering, and FPS drops. City Skylines 2 was by Mihuna trouble Dinkama Vani. Then MGS Master Collection, locked resolution, no remappable controls, issues with FPS limit, and forced linear filtering. Some of the complaints mash up. And Midanga the Varakuru list and Milista Tigu list. More games have the quote-unquote honor of joining it these days, and suala ki kive hai එවරයා ලාරිත දනි කොන්තාකම් හැකින් ඇති කුරණි කොම්පකොන්
එවරියා
දුන්නිය මේ ගේම් හදනි
එවරියා ලාරිත ජේ මේ කොම්පනීක මතේක මේ බෝඩ් මෙම්බරුන්නා ඩිරෙක්ටර් මිහුන්ගේ ජීබ වෙස්දාන් එහෙම ඒති දාහදම් බහ නිම්මාරයා බාකේවායිති කොළ දෙන් ඔන්නානි
I'm going to point out that again, Redfall it was Bethesda. Yeah? I mean, Arkane worked on it, but Bethesda was the publisher.
poor Arkane the Dishonored Deathloop කාල games තක වර රංගල reputation එක build කො දැන් විකාල ඉච්චෙන් වර දෙරවන්න
අස්ලි එමුන්ගේ වර creative වන juice flow එකක් නේක ප්‍රේක was like that was a really unique game as well. But
man.
We saw this coming here comments or I remember Deathloop with the 2022.
Yeah.
It was a very bad performance I think ඉන්දෝ හම පුදේවරක බොඩු අනේ issues තකන් එක ජෙහොනු එකම එච්ච I think වර බෑවර outlet on දින්කන එක game of the year so far, but unfortunately that game also had its fair share of issues on PC and on PS5 as well.
One common opinion මචන් ගෙ point මෙහෙම වා reason the දිනපාර මේ game build කරණි අනේ consoles එක and then upscale them කරණි PC එක and if this is the case I wish they would stop doing this. Like it is as far as I know fasaya kame ek PC build ko peti downscale koro rather than the opposite.
PC gaslo machine given ekka ane Mikh'a I think ekka Korea podcast ka you mentioned karne ekka wagate ki vara ekka hardware asta tafat bavedo ega mi komme PC ekka like no two PC kika bonani build yeah ehme vara modagowani hsang h optimize kura because like 1050 Ti ngi defa dengega mi 6GB GPU inna miha horedane anekka RAM faadaka bottleneck hadala ado ekagata den horedane vara eka technical side sanna me limitation
Our conclusion was that at the end of the day consoles angasavagotiki there's one size fits all the console hardware change and but PC avagotiki there's so many variations that it is extremely difficult Korea to optimize kura. And I feel like that's where that argument has come from because the console ports though they perform lower they perform more stable most of the time anyways.
Nintendo Switch kan bolani
I mean I was talking about Jedi Survivor as well, right? And Jedi Survivor is considered one of the worst PC ports though, so that's a very good example for this situation.
එහෙම මම ගොනනේ console build කරන කොටපතෝද PC build කරන පොඩ console පිට කොල්ලාට ඒති මම පස්සේ වනේර PC එක stable කන් ඉන්නේ තමගේ level of like let's say specs కదా but that is just my opinion.
දැන් ෆාරක මෙවල කීකත මේ එක Activision Blizzard අනෙක් ගොල බොබ්බා දිමාය මම බුණලා නේ කාරේ එක මසොරස් මෙහර දණී කන්නේ වාසේ පෙන්දෝ
didn't he already left?
එනේ ගොස්සිදෝ මෙහර
he did.
All right, that's great. So let's talk that Dengaramiya because Activision Blizzard and Dangal Kolaka Gendane though. Kind of hard to believe the gaming legend coming on.
Yeah.
Who's bad news, Ivani?
I still can't believe that he was the head of Activision for 32 years.
32 years.
Wow.
Ma VS Surene every Activision Blizzard.
That's wild. Now, on the topic of bigger companies, market May 2023 ga the parang we have Unity game engine pricing model and its PR disaster that followed. The Unity incident aharonki agoto vecheya.
We have a podcasting hedi edo.
A podcast we were joined by game developer Memory Ghost. Shout out to Memory Ghost. Check him out on Twitch. But me put a background at the nyam we got the Unity game engine the pricing model badu folli mehar waki warakapura boda game sales ulanyam no downloads ulanya me so not game sales downloads ulanyam that the developers have to pay Unity host the ehmema it's like being taxed for being successful and one unfair got the numbers I just for him waram boda outrage and as waragina companies the Unity ekko dukolla and content creators දුරුවේ වරද්දෙන් negative press එල්ලෙ බිකෝති දැන් ඒකේ ෆෝන් CEO බදලුවේ වරද සකරජ්ජ හිච්ච So that was then, and now I'm gonna ask you guys. It's been a while. Inge ma update on what about Unity. Kineng
ටයිටනික අදිය සම අඩියන් දනීග මෙහ රොනෙක්ක 25
Arikka lowing Edumuri Techum Miharu. First
No,
it was
no,
Burger,
maybe.
now it was Titanic.
Titanic. The burger is in the Titanic. 25% staff layoffs anekka announce kogen about the company reset
25%. Oh my god.
Yeah, 1,800 jobs. Like how
That is so bad. Inge, we
Yeah.
are gonna be talking about layoffs, but like
Oh,
now
yeah.
I just want to say, oh my god, that's wild. The layoffs are the varam poda topic ngadi Korean oti, but for now this Unity situation, me are one of our foodie gamers, bodati gamers about Unity venum kore. A lot of indie games obviously, but we're also talking things like Genshin Impact, right? So I am Mikh'a, AP get fully impact adi pennani Korean like we are already seeing some engines switch over, some games switch over to different engines if wherever possible. We're seeing developers being hired for other engines.
Yeah.
And Unity standard got a drop called life game. Unity that's we had developers a bit warabbodu banjama mataddawan.
වරන් අස්ලෝ අනේ හම එමෙහම එබුණ කොම්පනි රීසට වාරු එබ ගේම් ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රියස් පාඩක රීසට බවේ මෙහුණ එකක්ද
Yeah,
Emihun
Aslu.
nanola Korea that anyway, I am gone.
Yeah, Aslu, when this news started to spread though, I wasn't vodaka nenga me news begoton. So when someone explained to me, I think it was Mooney Kandenge, like the entire monetization situation tankore rangala. Like my reaction for it was have any one of you read Spy Family? The one with Anya? Anya meme
Anime.
paragina.
Anime.
Yeah, yes.
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah, my reaction was the same as Anya. Like when
Ah,
I
you are
got to know it,
default,
I opened my when I got to know it, I opened my eyes really big. I couldn't believe it. Then I started to rub my eyes. I thought it was a dream. When I opened it, no, it was real. Yeah, it was very
This is
shocking. Yeah,
basically
then
this is basically a real life version of that meme. Eric Andre shoots a guy on a couch and he's like, why would X do this? Why would Unity do this?
yeah. Also, like speaking of Genshin Impact, the air when Unity Korea kantattake Vero, I saw some post about like Mihoyo, like the makers of Genshin Impact. Though, like they were like trying to recruit people related to game engines. So many were like speculating that Miharu, like Mikanta Vima, Mihoyo is going to make their own engine. Though the Ekafahum, like we haven't heard much, but speculate kurave though, like me. Genshin is one of the biggest games. Then Hoyo and Miharu Hama games are Nerumundo Dani, and they all are made in Unity.
Yeah.
That's very true. So let's see where this Unity thing lands. If I could fall lower still, Adivis Korean will take a naming end point. Nade Miaro. Homme coming a me on Korea. You get trust about again. I think
Yeah.
that is the worst situation. No.
Yep. අස්ලු
Yeah.
දැන් අනගෙන් ලේෆ්ස් කවාක දක්කායරු අයහම් ති එහම ලේෆ්ස් කොඩ කොහරමනක් කියාදී වගේ මින්ඩස්ට්‍රික කියාවරගේ ලේෆ්ස් තකෙත්තෝ දියයි මිදියාහරු
Yavar case Purata comment. It's like I usually have like IG and news though notifications on like then hama almost every week or so I will see one news with something related to layoffs. Evara bodu HK me layoffs aki for this year.
Miaro. Games. I remember Mihar Budapendo, my podcast last year was a very good year for games. And that's very true. Yeah, profit of Balar research for statistica of Balar over 240 billion US dollars level of profits. And that's huge. So,
Yep.
and compared to that, 2022 as 2023 layoffs game industry through a body. According to Economic Times, we have at least about 9,000 employees who lost their jobs globally. Like I am a putting got a harman, put a havarta fenner fennani. 16% gostiye 200 mihun gostiye 900 mihun gostiye do ekama hen gam damun almost 9,000, you know, and that's a lot. And it's particularly sad because mimi hunda ema koruka matike kora naarme me evara doba games ta create kora.
Yep. ආරමන හමයි මෙච්ච එකක බාග හදාරු කක්කා මිහා නැති කියන බාග හදානේ කාක බාග හදානේ වෙන්නේ දැනන.
Yes. Now විවාහක දක්කාලා how common layoffs were, how much it affected companies. එවාක highlight කොල්ලම mention කොල්ලන by companies that had layoffs last year. Inge Ubisoft, Embracer Group, EA, BioWare, Microsoft, Bungie, Naughty Dog, Amazon, CD Projekt Red, Sega, Unity, of course, Activision Blizzard, and that is just a small selection.
ඒදඟම දාදි හොරයා ට්‍රිපල් A ගේමින් ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එක ගාලත මේ ආරම like මචං ඒවනේ 2023 එක වර I think even මේ EA බෑන්ඩෝ ලිස්ට් එක.
Yeah.
EA is number 3.
Okay.
Not that they are in any order, but you know, they just happen to be in the top 3.
Yeah.
I think indie studios layoffs happened though.
Yes.
Some of the studios that are owned by PlayStation Studios combined by Bungie.
Yeah,
Bungie.
it was Bungie.
Yeah, yung guys combined
This studio I know, but for this scale guys warang game studios are hard situation. Misal kahar mein recently you know news in Surgeon Simulator kiya game hai unhone PC ko mein saraka popular game hai the indie game hai a game create kuri studio with jai ko mein saraka ane wara puda team ek staff with evvare kuda konna ne mimi hunna beegota ki ek midiyar wara baar bodi games kanne ko mega gaming industry ati ko mein saraka huttamakan as a financial decision to make pura hisab kada eme ekkala ane neingum gandu ke tere go they couldn't survive me ROL level da and wara ek heavy heart attack ko gani ho staff do kollan jawne but at least mimi ke case ka the director or at least mimi ke case ka ek studio ka representative was basically asking mimi kaya kurashe wara rangal developers aron support nukare bani eki wara to commerce kala kindness ke ayen hoda ekama ko mat kurin me ki list ka ma ek aparon iveni new number of mimi delete kolla happy and the company and a mail list unda that's it, they're out.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're talking about hundreds of game developers who work really hard though to bring this game to life.
Then we have thousands ang eri do.
Yeah, Aslu.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah,
Sorry,
from
go
this
on.
list. Yeah, from this list, I'm actually like CD Projekt Red me list to go him like it was like hama kudako shocked though I Eru kudako like I knew this happened kurim but ekamatin hadana is that kulleka listum feroni manekka shocked jone do like they are doing layoffs.
Oh my god,
Aslu.
anya mendo
Yeah, Aslu shocked me jone because like from what I know they have been very open about how they are like development teams are divided in ongoing projects like එමිහුන්ගේ earning reports එක වර කිනම් ෆෙඩ්නේ ඉංගේ like එයා හෙදි බොඩ විබුරු ශොකකම් මියයි බොට්ට layoffs
CD Projekt හරමින් අස්ලෝ දැන් මෂා මූනියා දෙමිහුන එක නිවේදාන එකම හරමින් අස්ලෝ ගබෝරෙන් නුකුරන්ගේ මිහුන් දක්කාවා හකයි මිහුන් ආද බොඩු betrayal එක හරමනම් එදිනේ Cyberpunk 2077 launch කරේ හරමින් ජෙහුණු 30 minute review එක හදම් මිහුන කායේද දෝ මූනි
මිහාරු Cyberpunk කුලවේ ඉගේ
This is what I said when I said Cyberpunk final patch in RFA and I said okay finally nikuti do hai.
Aslu, if you guys haven't played Korea Witcher games, the same pattern though Aslu made before. Because Witcher was Korea, it was like really buggy. Witcher 3 was okay though, but it was the final stuff which actually clinched it as a lot of people's favorite RPG much later on.
You're right, Inge.
Yeah, දෙකවන වාකන් ඒරුවන Cyberpunk 2077 නරුණු එක Witcher 3 වෙසම ස්ටේට් එක නරුණි දෝ එකම දැන් මේ ටික හරමින් බුඩන් වෙච්ච කි එක Cyberpunk 2077 එක වර මේ hands on netches එච්චේ දක්කා but it was වර කීක බොණානි ඔඩුවාරුමගේ තරේක ෆාඩකන් එදිය ඒදෝ ka PC performance ennu dakka ado console ga dakka PC enakecche kiyafa commerce outlet takegga vesuri kawa ko dem by found review delete koddo wara sakarajje tanta like because it was actually misinformation kanne
Another thing to say here is that two wrongs don't make a right. Just because their previous games break what for Horima, their games break what can I mean,
Yeah.
Bethesda, me our career can get hada but we have making hada game industry kola kan
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, bas కొడక నువ్వు everything over here layoffs the kind of the building
me
is
haro
complete,
tiari
it's coming down though. Yeah, anekadinga
which thing and me haro me topic with the ma bodan negative na madin ko positive direction na ke endana suwale yeah situation me hen then Korea they can be no money coaching what do you want to see happen in the future regarding the layoff problem?
layoff problem.
Less layoffs.
Obviously though I am less
I know
layoff.
that that's the simple answer, but like, is there more to it? Like, do you have any more thoughts?
Less layoffs obviously hum bodaddo denga sa ask personally ma vara anen dekan beanam vaicham yarikka South Asian game development industry for devaraka Korean gabade do Indonesia tantanum for devaraka like toge production santanum ya like hum globally ebahada do are recognizable games taddo so hum ma beanum vekka hum divessaka vtv samakka divehim ves ebo kuredo itam medengekka mi ammum anahem common knowledge and obvious ekka work kure games tawgado. So hopefully what I want to see in the future, maybe 2024, 2025, or maybe the next 5 years is a Maldivian video game though made by Maldivians like that are in the international market. I know there are some games that are out now though, but this same passion I want to see international anakachikka saharamna komme saraka showcase kollando. So that is something that I want to see my industry develop.
In my case, regarding the layoffs, of course, then less layoffs would be good, better, the best situation. And I also think a slow gaming the profits miha high kong ole pro genestem burako maseke kura mihun nang mihunge rangal appreciation no vara dera kame ke masab thing hoche beno manyam o kena ka visnala nyamo beno mani gamers mikala issues atankole bodang avayavegen kolen ekkala boda rangalu madeken beno do kiaslu gamers me ituran avayava mikala issues to ingigen rangalu games no rangalu companies support ko gen financially speak out kura eita harmengaslo voice emme boda paal kurevene gotaki
Yeah, it's like the common saying the having a powerful tool like having wallet edo.
Exactly. Adi games saki eke te profit dipne harmenge jeepon. Emme harmenge jeepon da lar direct kurashe ene eminge staff of take care kura companies. Me har hamekani developers and I kept saying developers early on, but that's a mistake. There are staff that work at game publishers and developers as well. How much stuff are done? And though I'm every system secure one to end it. Vara key masekata kaddo ekodeni.
Yeah. And Daramaka, Jibum Mida, Bavasa Maitron with an like me are $70, Korean 69, 59. Me are the how
Ivesa varabadutede.
Well, I don't really have much to say though. But the thing is, for the profit first. No, it might be nice if companies actually lower their profit margin and keep their employees around. That's my opinion on the matter.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
Aslu punanya varapavara specialist unta keddomi dukolle.
Yeah.
Ehmi maslo e company ge skill level with low one domi havara employees dukuranya.
Aslas then akka anangin then me are got the nega deka makka layoffs announce coffee akka hesitant to anado ami have said anando yeah but culture of layoffs and tanakanganeka wadigan nega netado kita dos kame pani vesso kaya got the netado yeah
Eves varanuraka echen aslu future of game enna padala. Ehmi companies tes commerce kami kama bekaton visnam.
Yeah, then yeah, true. Then in topic at there some then aneka so tivarang hama kika bonani depressing topic like 2023 we are going to be looking into like selective activism in the video gaming industry. Though as to then ganing a game kulemi una befa eha boda kaggina mi hum visna aneka chennondo ekka mi politics ekka echeta in the real world examples ta amuko ekka tankole eha bodaka baram beon mannung ekka maslo. When it comes to these things, like Haron and Mihar Ferran Tangoda or the Hagorama, Mihar and Kasmikani. But what I mean is 2023, though, like the Russia Ukraine war is also like the one of the big geopolitics ke utan kode bodu ane kacheddo den etiga vigotaki when it comes to that, like a lot of public people, a lot of like media, like tech, gaming, me, then movies, etc. So a lot of people spoke out in the support of Ukraine. Though a lot of people started GoFundMe, a lot of video games, like publishers, like on Epic Games ka hatantanum hum specifically hockey promotions take just off a funds that donate kurido Ukraine and then we have something a little bit closer to heart we have like the Israel Palestine genocide then stuff when it comes to video games you have to know that the video games they are made by people, real people, and they are made by real people in real countries, in real situations. So, misalnya like Indonesia, like vara tafatu ane mungkin like toge productions ke game tak you will feel vara innane like they really try to put the feel of the Jakarta in their games. So, and when it comes to like games that are made in Palestine, a lot of people wouldn't really think about games that are made in Palestine because by law you can't make games in Palestine as a Palestinian, though it is a very draconian law that is imposed by the oppressive state, colonial state of Israel, though which prevents people from doing a lot of things. And unfortunately, one of those things is like working on their passion and making video games. Though, and a lot of people they get censored. The one of these instances was unfortunately Game Awards. So Game Awards is one of the like times that Emmen tune in kofa like we are watching like industry and Jeff Keighley himself has been someone who's been quite vocal about these issues in the past. Though then as a gamer, as someone who plays video games, as someone who's like who likes to read up on these things, though it's quite disheartening though Game Awards there was a time, there was a chance given to like certain people like speech in support of Gaza vareg acknowledgement some deaf ears of all without then I think it was golden joysticks me speech submit and one of the speakers wrote a beautiful speech in support of Palestine, in support of Gaza, and to అసలు బొడు ఇచ్చాను ceasefire and we just want people to stop killing each other. And as gamers, when people stop killing each other, these people get to make video games that we can play though. And what a simple logic asli me deaf ears and active censorship for me money, and it is not a good thing. It's quite depressing thing or phone and I think as gamers we should be like a game kuleros komme sareke ka sekundiga fahatuga namme sekka bahattannagalu chekkanne visareka ekka vara ginanga tech industry takum vese hentantanu vese bakiyado support for Ukraine, Ukrainian rights. But when it comes to the Palestine situation, when it comes to the genocide, like nufennane varaddo mihum eka echike bunatane because there's some level of censorship there, and it's sad, it's depressing, but it should change as well. Then yeah, rent kolle vijay kannega mikama detere.
I also do remember a lot of what you were mentioning. I mean, various studios and publishers and whatnot coming out like a Ukraine support program again. And I think that's good and like it helps a lot of people. But at the same time, there are some other people who also do need help. So.
Exactly.
Now, mitopika vegas on the map hot takes and input and net as merely game enjoyers. It is sad to see what you're talking about, Tasin. And our hope is that 2024 commerce work itro awareness create one commerce support despite the more serious topics that we talked about. Like I said, 2023 has been a good year for games, but maybe not so much for game devs, for certain topics and communities. Emme har hope ki den kurian matta gaves tanikka 2024 was good year for games of one come up, but also Mikh'a Gashe games create korami hon games are connected for the communities the guys support them ekam kura the
yeah aslo me aningen balaru me harmen ekka kiyanno 2023 is ekka bunaham is a good year for games edo ekam hama ekka balanje in the hindsight, you know, a lot of people suffered though. I think always yeah
layoffs is all time high, profits is all time high, so comments ekaching baje change ma. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me for this 2023 year in review podcasting. It was very interesting, and I am really looking forward another year. I'm really looking forward to 2024 and another year of gaming with Emmen Gaming.
Yep, we have a lot to look ahead. Mikh'a do anything in terms of video game releases as well, I think.
I mean, February is packed.
Relink,
Persona, FF7 Rebirth, Vanishes.
What a busy one.
I'm a Korean noti.
Yeah.
With this, you guys may have nimmalam. Thank you so much. Medo adwahali noni belly kuriha audience member na bang. The question we have for you is the same. What were your top gaming moments of 2023? Noni 2023 games industry noni game inna bego tunga bodang handang hori ametto. Then adi comments or adi reminders kolla dena social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Follow kolla. Armanga reviews the podcast stuff and on YouTube, and we stream every Friday on Twitch.
Yeah.
So see you next time. Bye.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.